Hello everyone. Good evening. Today we are trying to discuss the need of data designer. So this might be couple of sessions because data designer is very big based on the requirements, what we need to understand. So today on 11th of September, we are trying to just try to understand the need of the data designer, how it looks and what is the need of it. There are a couple of things. As I mentioned, there might be a couple of sessions on this one. So first, I would like to showcase how the data designer looks, what is the need behind it. So there are some sample data also given there. So I'll go into audience builder, contact builder. I'll be in audience builder, contact builder. Okay. I'm in audience builder, contact builder, and this is how the data designer looks like, which is the first tab in Marketing Cloud. Contact builder, you can create your own uh, data model here. It is not required at the beginning. It is not required at the beginning. So you might need it as and when you progress or when your data starts booking more. Okay. So here is some of the examples here. Okay. So you can also make use of this UI, demographic, retail transaction. These are the samples given by data designer, which you can drag and drop into the screen and understand how the data designer works. Basically, you need to have your contact data first and the rest of the things fall in place as and when we progress. So we need to have the data extensions required for our learning purpose. So basically, you need to have data extensions. So I'll be creating some data extensions and I'll be adding those things. You can also make use of this one. So you can create a contact structure necessary to add demographic information to a contact record. If I drag and drop it, so it will just create one data extension called demographics as an attribute group where we have birth date, city, customer ID, first name, gender, last name. This is a sample one which is present within the data design. So this is a very simple data modeling. Okay, you can see this very simple data modeling, demographics. And here you can see that this is connected to your contact key with customer ID. So we have first name, customer ID, last name, city, state, postal code, gender, and birthday. Gender and birthday. Now, now, so this is very simple. Do we need this? Not in the first place. You don't need a data designer until unless you want it to be used in your journey builder. Okay, you don't need this until you feel that it is required. So first we need to understand how the data looks and what all the information we need to be used in journey builder. Okay, so this is a very simple model. You can just go back to data designer and also you can pull many other examples. Basically, this is the concept which comes from a database background. If I drag and drop a retail transaction example, it will create a folder with this one and all the data extensions will be created with very complex uh, data designer data modeling. So, but preferably, I would suggest you people to create your own data models. For that, we need to create some examples on it. So here is an example of that one. This is only for the learning purpose. We don't have any data here which can help us anywhere. So here you can see it is connected with one-to-many retail orders, retail order lines, returns, payments, retail products, where you can see the product ID here. So first we need to understand the data extensions and its primary keys. Basically, the concept is creating primary key and foreign key in Marketing Cloud. So you can make use of these retail transaction. When you click and open this, for example, let me take retail products. Retail products, you can see product ID and product SKU as two primary keys. Okay. And let me select credits, payments, return lines, retail products, retail order lines. This is one which I opened, right? Retail order lines. Here you can see the order ID and order line ID. So this is an example of it. So when it comes to payments, you can see payment ID as a primary key here. So these are the data extension, which is out of the box even. But so we need to start off with a very basic one first. so that we can start using them in Journey Builder. Basically, data designer is the one which can help you to create primary key and foreign key concept. Primary key and foreign key concepts. So to have a primary key and foreign key, we need to have data extensions, right? Responsive data, the respective data extensions. I will be taking an example of an MySQL table. So if I have it, so I have these things. I don't have the mm, employees one. Okay. So what I'll be doing is for learning purpose, I'll be creating one MySQL employees database GitHub. Let me create this structure. Okay, we have this one. I need to download this. Yes. I'm just creating this structure just to explain you people on this. First, we need to understand the existing data model of your database or your client, any client where you're working for. So let me take this. Let me unzip this one. Database data designer is purely the replica. It's a purely the replica of your concept of databases. So it is not opening. No. Okay. Let us see whether we have the data designed here first. Do we have the data model, data structure given? Yes, we do have data structure given for this one. Let me take, do we have this? Is it not visible? Let me decrease the size. I think it is broken. That's fine. Let me take images. Employees GIF. I think it should be there in our folder. First, let us understand this one, which is very important. Images. Yes, we have it here. It's good. So here you can see the structure here. Employees, salaries, department, department manager, titles, and department here. You can see this one, department, right? So based on this structure, we would like to create the exact structure within our marketing cloud first. Okay, if you understand the need, if you want just employees where we'll be sending the email for them, we don't need anything for this one. Okay, so let me go into my folder where I have the structure MySQL master. MySQL minus U, root minus P, and I'll be importing this using the command given here. Uh, there should be a command to install this. Okay. MySQL minus U root minus P as a symbol employees dot SQL. Parallel when this is happening, I would like to create a folder for employees and I'll try to replicate a very simple example. I will try to replicate a very simple example first based on this image. So let us try to understand, is there any relationship between employees and department? So do we have any relationship between employees and titles? The answer says we have employee number, title, from date and to date. You can see the titles here. We have departments. This is one example. We need to understand the structure. We have employees. We don't have any connection between employee and department directly. So it is connected through employees, connected to department, and then it is connected to this department. So employees is the one which is connected to this one. This is very important before we start with designer, data designer. First, we need to have these data extensions in place, right? So let me go with this one. SQL minus U root minus P U to databases. Yes. It is employees. Do we have employees? No. Yeah, we have MySQL employees. Use MySQL underscore employees show tables. Okay, we have use list. This is good. We have country, current department, department employee, department employee. We have employee. Describe employee. We need employee first. And employee has a huge list. We have employee number, employee ID, date of birth, first name, last name, middle name, gender, date of hiring, date of termination, date of probation, and it's huge here, right? So we have that picture being given here. If yes, let's see. Yes, there are employee number, birth date, sex, and others. Okay, this is good. You can start working on this one. So first, you will create a data extension for Marketing Cloud. Who is the primary data extension? For Marketing Cloud, the primary data extension would be employees. So let me create a folder for employees. And I'll be creating one data extension. And this data extension, what I'll be creating, okay, it is not always that you need that in your data designer. Any data extension, when you create it, do remember that you don't need them in your data designer. Okay, as an example. But when do you need them? You need them when you are creating a journey which will be working on real-time data. Okay, so we need to understand the data first, and then based on that, we need to go with your real-time data also. Okay, so first I'll be creating an employees table, right, which will be marked as sendable, and I'll be going with employee number, all in lowercase, employee number, the first name, the last name, the gender. I'll take this example. Employee number, first name, last name, gender, birth date, and hire date. Birth date and hire date. Let's follow one format. Underscore, underscore. underscore based on employee number. So employee number will be a number, which is a primary key, very important. Department, first name, last name, gender, birth date, hire date. So he might be changing his a department. So I'll be having a department ID. So I'll connect them. In this example, we'll be having department number here. We'll be having department underscore number, which is also a number format. So what is next? Employee number is a primary key, first name, last name, gender, birth date, hire date, and these two are of date type. Okay. And this will be based on employee number. Okay, very simple. Good with this. Yes, this is good. Now, you don't need this data extension to be connected to your data designer. But when do you need it? You might need this to be connected because you want to have their departments to be connected. So in Marketing Cloud, we don't have an option of primary key and foreign key. To achieve this, you will need the data designer. So let me go into departments now. So I'll be creating departments. Departments, which is non-sendable. Why it is non-sendable? Because it will not have an email address. This will have a department number and department name. Department number will be a number, which is a primary key, which will not repeat. So, and do remember, this is our non-sendable data extension. Our non-sendable employees and departments. If you want to connect these two, we don't have a foreign key. So that is where you need a data designer. So let us keep it simple. First, you will connect your employees into data designer, and that employees will be connected to a department. You can do it in two different ways. One is connecting with two different things, or you can just go with this. Let me show you that. I'm creating a very simple attribute group. We don't have any data. You don't need this until you feel that it is required by your journey builder. So let me create employees attribute group, and always try to connect your subscribers based on your business and others. In my case, employees is my folder where I'll be connecting employees table first. So employee number is treated as a contact key in this case. And do remember, we cannot connect, since it is number, it is not allowing us to connect it, right? So what should be the best practice of connecting? So always try to store this in your text. This is also one of the key points when you are creating your data designer. So data goes wrong, everything goes wrong. Do we need this? We don't need this for now, but I need to change my data extension because I'm unable to link my contact key with my employees table. Without connecting that, we cannot do anything. Right? That is the reason you need to recreate your employees table. I'll just replicate it. I'll go back to my data extension. I'll create the same data extension, but before that, I'll rename this one. I'll call this one as employees underscore two. Wait for the name change. And now I'll be creating a data extension from existing data extension. So that is also a key point to remember, that it should be a text data type to connect. So this is my employees table now. And instead of this one, it will be a text form of length 50. Let's make it as that. Primary key, employee number, and create. Perfect. Now I'll be creating. Basically, you don't need this until unless you use them in your journeys. Until unless you use them in your journeys. Data designer, I have the attribute group created without any data extension linked. Data extensions employees table. Now I'll be connecting. You can see the data type here, text with text. Contact key will be linked with the employee number, which is a one-to-one relation. This is by default one. This is also one. Now this table will be connected to our departments table based on department number. Based on add relationship. Now I would like to, but in this case, one employee will be present in only one department. That is also important. It's not more than one. So employee has a department number, which will be connected to it, which is a one-to-one. So we'll try to understand one-to-many also in future. For now, we'll keep it simple. Now, okay. Why do we need this is because I want to segment the data in Journey Builder based on department name. If you want to make it on gender, you don't need this. Any information coming from this data extension don't need any of your data designer, but you want to do this on department name. So that's where you people need your data designer to connect your data extensions. We'll take one of the retail examples for that. Or if you want to do a real-time journeys, let me show you one of the examples on data designer. Okay, so I'll just go with data designer. I'm creating a multi-step journey and I'll call this one as data designer employees. Save this, organize it to my folder. So who will be my entry source? Data extension, which is my employees, will be my entry source here. You can see only sendable data extensions are available here. Okay. Now, if I want to create a decision split, now keep an eye on this one. Now, if I want to create a decision split based on employees table, you don't need a data designer connection. So let me drag and drop a decision split. I just want to create a segment based on the gender, male or female. You can just make use of the journey data. You can just make use of the journey data. Gender will be equal to male. For female, you don't journey data. So what is the contact data and journey data? Journey data is the data extension which is coming from your entry source. Which is coming from you. You don't need a data designer for this one. But let's assume that you people are trying to create a decision split in Journey Builder based on the department name. Okay, department name based on this employee to which department name they belong to. Let me drag and drop the decision split as an example. Now I want to pull them into two different departments. For example, so now you need contact data because journey data doesn't have the department name. Let me go into contact data. Okay. And then let me go into employees. Now employees is connected to our departments. I want to divide them. So let's take an example that they belong to human HR department. They'll be in one path. This for HR. Now you want to send them in two different paths like HR and admin. Okay. This is my HR. I want to add a path for if they belong to admin. That is the department where they work. So now you cannot make use of this one. Why? Because we don't have the department name here. You have only department number. If you want to use department number, that's really cool. But if you want to do it on a department name, then you need that connection between your employee and the department table. So that is where we need employees attribute group connected to employees table. Employees table is connected to departments. Now I'll drag and drop here and I'll call this one as admin if they belong to admin here. So this is one major use case why you need data to be connected using data designer. Okay. So now people will move here and then they'll be divided into male and female. You can add multiple one. I just wanted to explain why do you need a data designer. A very simple example here because I want to pull them into two different paths or three based on the department name, not based on this data. If your data is all present in this table, you don't need them to be connected. But in general, Marketing Cloud doesn't have the feature of having primary key and foreign key. That is where you need a data designer to connect them. This was a very simple example. What is the second major reason you might need data designer? Okay, it might be a simple example also. It might be only one table, and that table you want it to be connected because you want to refer the data in real time when you are trying to create journeys on that one. Okay, this was a very simple example which I wanted to demonstrate. There are n number of use cases when you need data designer. If you want to create a goal, if you want to create exit criteria, even this is the use case you need a data designer. Okay, you need a data designer for. So we'll be taking some specific examples when we are creating goal, and also why do we need that one? How, what is the difference between contact data and journey data? What is the difference between contact data and journey data? So you can see this, we have contact data and journey data. We'll take a simple example first. So I'll be explaining a very simple decision split using journey data. Then I'll be taking a decision split and goal. So each example will be added with more and more examples. It depends on how you have connected. Basically, data designer is trying to replicate your database, replicating your existing database. You can take any example for that reason. So always try to remember that. And there are a couple of examples as I was demonstrating in the data designer. You can drag and drop to understand how data model looks for different industries. Here is one example of it. So I dragged and drop a right. I dragged and drop a demographic info, which was a very simple, right? This one, right? Demographic. We have only one table and it is connected to our contact key. You can see this one: first name, customer ID, last name, city, state, postal code, gender, and. But even though you have only one data extension, but you want to refer something in real time within your journey builder. Okay. For example, if they are changing the state or the postal code. So let's take some other example, which is our loyalty membership programs or others. When they enter the journey, they will be in a different state. So we need to understand that data also. Data designer is really big when you start using them correctly with your journeys. Data designer is required for sure to use them in your journeys for real time data, because journeys will be big. We want to check the data which is coming in real time, and based on the decision split, we want to move it. If it is a very simple scenario, you don't need this data designer at all. For example, I want to send them into a journey based on gender or decision split based on gender. You don't need data designer. You don't need data designer at all if your decision split are pretty simple, straightforward, coming from a data extension which will be used as your entry source. If it is coming from your entry source, you don't need data designer to be connected. So that's where we need to now understand the difference between journey data contact data, and the content of the email also play a role. The content of the data and the email content also plays a role when it comes to your, but we don't need that until unless you are creating any email content using your AMP script. But it makes a difference if you are using it from your. Okay, so now I'll be pausing this video because I want to give a very simple example of an email which will be sent from the journey builder, where I'll be using personalization string and a lookup function. Okay, so with this, I'll be pausing this video. This was just a simple introduction to Data Designer. And do remember, you need to create all the data extensions which you need before you connect it. And after connecting, don't disconnect it. If you disconnect it, it will affect the journeys which are built using these data relationship. So be very sure that you are very clearly ensuring that the connections are done only if it is required, and don't disconnect it, because your journeys will start failing if you start using them. For example, let's take an example that I have already built a data designer. I have all these informations ready. I'm using this data designer, that is these tables in my journey. And later, if you start disconnecting them, click on it, you can disconnect it. You just click on this and it will be disconnected. If you disconnect in this scenario, your journeys will start failing. Don't do this. Thoroughly analyze your data before it is connected. Once connected, you can disconnect it if it is not used in any journey. Okay, that is very important. So with this, I'll give a pause on this video number 1.